Well, new at 6, you may have seen them on the road. They are K cars, gaining in popularity. Small, easy to park, and very affordable. The question, though, are they supposed to be on the road?
This pickup truck just got prohibited across 12 U.S. states, and owners are absolutely freaking out. Beneath the bans is a quiet war involving shadowy regulators, a decades-old import loophole, and powerful forces trying to kill these trucks for good.
You know, Tommy, I love K-trucks. And my question is, why the heck are they trying to make these things illegal in many states?
You see it more and more now. Those boxy little trucks that look like they time-traveled out of a Tokyo alley and landed on American back roads. K-trucks. Built tough, nimble as hell, and dirt cheap. But if you blinked in the last 2 years, you might have missed the war brewing over them. A war that has nothing to do with safety, and everything to do with control.
Beyond struggles, a foreign truck model is seeing some major success on America's farms and back roads.
While these Japanese mini trucks were quietly winning over farmers, small business owners, and off-road junkies, American regulators were lining up their targets. The crackdown started slow, just a few blocked titles here, a revoked registration there. But then, suddenly, entire states started banning them.
It didn't last.
I had the vehicle for 6 months and then got a letter in the mail saying that my title had been revoked from the Department of Revenue and that I had 10 days to return it.
The reason? Safety. At least that's what the paperwork said. But the deeper you look, the more the safety excuse falls apart. What you'll find is an economic panic disguised as policy. K-trucks aren't new. Japan's had millions of them on the road for decades. Compact, efficient, and ridiculously capable, they've evolved with safety features like ABS, crumple zones, and electronic stability control.
Mechanically speaking, it's important to understand here that they sell millions of these in Japan. They're pretty much the automotive lifeblood of the nation. They have to be reliable.
Some even beat out American trucks on braking tests. But in the US, they were slapped with blanket bans. Why? Because they don't meet federal crash test standards. Except they don't have to, because under the 25-year rule, these trucks are legally exempt. So if it's not about compliance, what's really going on? Let's pull back the curtain. Here's the ugly truth. As American pickup prices passed $70,000, cheap imports like K-trucks became a threat, especially to domestic automakers who've doubled down on oversized, overpriced trucks.
So I did import it from Japan, and I want to preface all this by saying that I got it for pretty cheap.
K-trucks selling for just $5,000 to $10,000 blew a hole straight through their profit margins. One reliable K could cost less than a single year's payment on a new Silverado or Ram. And for small businesses trying to stay alive, that price difference wasn't just appealing, it was a lifeline. Imagine you're a landscaper. You can buy 5 K-trucks for the cost of one American pickup. That's more jobs, more routes, and less downtime. It's not just a better deal, it's a smarter fleet. And that's the problem. Not for you, but for the folks sitting behind a desk in Detroit. So regulators started pulling out all the stops. They leaned on old trade laws like the chicken tax, slapped vague safety labels on vehicles that had safer crash performance than some domestic cars, and used obscure paperwork rules to turn these imports into contraband. Behind much of this pressure was the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, or AAMVA. They don't pass laws, but their best practice memos to DMV started a domino effect. From Maine to Pennsylvania to Oregon, states quietly revoked titles using AAMVA guidance. No debates, no hearings, just bureaucratic consensus backed by legacy automakers. But here's where it gets good. Texas, a state known for full-size trucks, became the unlikely battleground for mini truck rights. When the DMV there started rejecting K-truck titles in 2021, it looked like game over. However, a small group of owners pushed back, and they didn't just post angry comments. They gathered data, crafted legal arguments, and hit lawmakers with personal stories of how these trucks kept their businesses afloat. One group logged 180 contracts with legislators, and that's not noise, it's pressure. And it worked. In April 2024, Senate Bill 1816 passed, and Texas reversed its stance.
Being 142 ayes, 0 nays, Senate Bill 1816 is finally passed. Chair lays out on third reading to Senate Bill 1952. The clerk will read the bill.
Suddenly, the state that once turned its back on mini trucks was leading the charge for their protection. The dominoes started to fall. Advocacy groups from across the country copied the Texas blueprint, blending storytelling with stats and emotion with policy. And when Massachusetts tried to ban K-trucks outright in June 2024, they triggered something bigger than they ever expected. That's where Matt Isgro and Mason Mongine come in. Two everyday truck owners with zero political experience but one huge advantage: community. Within weeks, they built a Facebook group that ballooned to over 900 members. What started as frustration turned into legal firepower. Citizens showed up to transport board meetings with facts, figures, and first-hand accounts. They weren't asking for permission. They were demanding accountability.
If the NHTSA didn't feel like these were roadworthy, they would not allow them to be imported with the checkbox on motor vehicle. They would be imported as off-road only, and They wouldn't be willing to allow them onto the road.
And they got it. In September, Massachusetts backtracked. They reinstated registrations and launched new safety studies. The movement scored another win. But by then, this wasn't about just one state anymore. It had become a national reckoning. People realized something dangerous. If K-trucks could be banned so easily, what's next? Electric conversions? Gray market imports? Anything that doesn't fit the automaker playbook? What began as scattered complaints had grown into a full-blown transportation rights movement. And it wasn't just gearheads anymore. Environmentalists, libertarians, postal workers, rural contractors, they all found common ground in one idea: the freedom to drive what works, not just what sells. And here's the kicker. One of the most widely circulated justifications for the bans was a 2008 crash video showing the K-truck being obliterated by a Ford Ranger. It became Exhibit A for regulators, but the test was misleading. The trucks collided at different speeds, the weight disparity was massive, and worst of all, the vehicle tested wasn't even a legitimate K-truck. Meanwhile, domestic vehicles that fail basic visibility tests and contribute to pedestrian deaths are still street legal. Why? The U.S. has a truck safety crisis, but it's not caused by K-trucks.
Safe.
They're highway safe in Japan. There are loads of vehicles that are way less safe by any objective measure than the cars at issue in this case.
It's caused by 6,000-pound behemoths with massive blind spots, aggressive grills, and vertical hoods that kill children in school zones. Studies have shown that pedestrian fatalities have risen sharply with the rise of large SUVs and electric pickups. Yet those vehicles get a pass, while K-trucks get crushed. Look overseas. Japanese crash data from over 1,300 collisions involving K-trucks shows no significant difference in injury severity compared to normal-sized vehicles. In Japan, they focus on preventing crashes, not just surviving them. Smarter vehicles, better driver awareness, and smarter street design. It's not rocket science, it's common sense. But in America, safety gets weaponized when it threatens profits. Online groups morphed into legal think tanks. Advocacy turned tactical. They were no longer fighting just to keep K-trucks legal, they were challenging the entire system that kept prices high, options low, and small businesses on the ropes.
Makes you wonder, when they claim that it's because of safety that they don't allow vehicles like that Acti on the road, makes you wonder, is that really the reason why?
Here's the thing no one in power wants to admit. Regulation, when captured by industry, becomes protectionism. And when you strip that down, it's not about safety anymore, it's about money. Hit like, share your K-Truck story in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives on the rigs that actually matter.